Hey everyone, I am so glad you joined us tonight online for our first lesson in our online Fruit of the Spirit series. If you didn't get a bag this morning, I would like you to send me an email at alex.wakefield@fumcgallatin.org to let me know, and I can schedule a time to drop one off at your house or for you to pick one up at the church. This is what they should look like. Go ahead and get yours out and ready so we can do our fun experiment. Tonight, we'll be learning about love. Love is the first element of the fruit of the Spirit. And our main idea tonight is that I was created to love God and to love others. Our special verse for the night, for love, is from 1 John 4:19. It is, "We love because He first loved us." On your little card in your bag, there's a little saying that I'd like to read. It says, "Love is patient, kind, rejoices over truth. Love always trusts, hopes, and preserves, and it is not jealous. It doesn't brag. It isn't proud, rude, selfish, angry, and takes no pleasure in evil." Our story tonight comes from Matthew 27, and I'm sure it's a story we're all familiar with, and it's on the crucifixion of Jesus. Let's learn more.
The sun stops shining. "So you're a king, are you?" the Roman soldiers jeered. "Oh, then you'll need a crown and a robe." They gave Jesus a crown made out of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. "Oh, your majesty," they said. Then they whipped him and spat on him. They didn't understand this was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him a sign, "Our King," and nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried the cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. They nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus gasped. "They don't understand what they're doing." "You say you've come to rescue us," people shouted. "You can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels would have flown to his side if he'd called. "If you were really the Son of God, you could just climb down off that cross," they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop, like when he healed that little girl and stilled the storm and fed 5,000 people. But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. "Papa!" Jesus cried, frantically searching the sky. "Papa! Where are you? Don't leave me!" And for the first time, and the last, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe away every tear from every eye. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine. The earth trembled and quaked. The great mountains shook. Rocks split in two until it seemed that the whole world would break. The creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son instead of his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin. and not destroy his children, whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted out in a loud voice, "It is finished!" And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the whole world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, black, like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid Jesus in a new tomb, carved out of rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything anymore, except they did know that their hearts were breaking. "Ah, that's the end of Jesus," the leaders said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb. They hauled a huge stone in front of the door to the tomb so that no one could get in or out.
Isn't that such an amazing story? It tells of how God sent his only Son because he loved us so much to die on the cross and to free us from our sin. Jesus was so loving and he loved all of us so much that he was willing to go through that pain and that trouble for us so that we can live in him and have everlasting life. Today I have an experiment to show us how important love is. If you'll take your bag, tonight we're going to be getting these items. You'll need this foil pan, 2 paper towels, and your red marker and a pen. Now, this isn't all you'll need. You'll need to add water. It doesn't have to be warm, it can be cold, it can be warm, it doesn't matter. What we're going to do first is we're going to draw a heart on our paper towel. Now make it big. Make sure it touches the edges. This is your heart. When we are filled with God's love, our hearts are filled with love. So let's color in our hearts. Might take a minute because our hearts are so big and so filled with his love. So keep just coloring it in, color it all the way in. Keep coloring. I'm almost done. How about you? Did you beat me? I'm sure you did. Almost done. Perfect. Now your heart should look like this. This is what our hearts look like when they're filled with God's love. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the pen, click it open, and above the heart, this is important, above the heart, you're going to draw other people in the world. They can be your mom and dad, your friends, or just people you see out and about in the grocery store that you don't know, strangers. You can draw however many you want. I'm drawing 5. You see our people up there? These are the people around us in our world, and this is our love for God. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some water and you're going to fill it up in the pan. Now make sure you get a good amount of water. So like I said, this is our love, our hearts when we're filled with God's love. Watch what happens when we're filled with God's love. Watch how we impact the other people around us. What you're going to do is you're going to dip it in the water just a little bit. and let's watch what happens. It might take a minute. Watch what's happening. Look. God's love is spreading to people around us. See how they're covered in the red? That red symbolizes God's love in us. Now they're all covered up in God's love. When we're filled with God's love, it spreads, and that's a good thing. See these people around us? They're now filled with God's love because we showed love to them. We are called to love people, love everyone. Your neighbors, your brothers and sisters, your mom and dad, your grandparents, everyone you come in contact with, whether you know them or they're just a stranger to you. Love everyone. Do you remember our verse from earlier? 1 John 4:19. Let's say it together. We love because He first loved us. He showed us this when He died for us on the cross. Isn't that amazing what Jesus did? He loved us so much that He was willing to sacrifice Himself for us. I hope you enjoyed this lesson today. Next, we're going to sing a song about the fruit of the Spirit. My challenge to you is that by the end of this series, you will be able to recite all of the 9 elements of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. All of these are very important in order to be filled with the fruit of the Spirit. You must have all 9 in order to be properly filled with that fruit. Let's sing this song.
Galatians 5:22 and 23. But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives. Galatians 5:22 and 23.
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
But the fruit of the Spirit is
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
But the fruit of the Spirit is
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
But the fruit of the Spirit is
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
Galatians 5:22 and 23. This fruit right here is not from a tree, it's not from a loom, it's inside me. Got filled with the Spirit and it made me new. Wanna see that fruit coming out of you. God said when you trust you a new creation, time to accept that this fruit right here is not from a tree, it's not from a loom, it's inside me.
Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
Galatians 5:22 and 23.
There is no lie can cease pain. No
Galatians 5:22 and 23.
There is no lie kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
That was awesome. I hope you learned a lot today about love, and I can't wait to continue with you next week when we learn about joy, what joy does in our lives, and how we receive God's joy. Remember, keep listening to that song, and I want to see videos of you learning that song and participating with us tonight. Have your parents send me an email at alex.wakefield@fumcgallatin.org and send me pictures and videos of you participating in this lesson. I am so excited to get to know you this summer online, and I can't wait till we're together again. I hope you have a great evening.